Fellas, it's Lord again. Hi there. So today I want to talk to you about another painting I did a few months back actually already. It's the biggest project drawing wise I ever did, and I'm so happy with the outcome. I love it all the way through, especially because it took so much work and effort and planning. I drew a huge picture of all the heroes of my childhood. So all cartoon characters, all the video game characters I loved growing up, and this is the process. And yeah, I'm not even sure what I can tell you about it other than just going through the rows of more than 50. I watched a lot of television as a kid, and I played a lot of video games. Well, yeah, there are certainly a few characters which came later than childhood, but I, for myself, think that I'm pretty much still a child. Yeah, starting in the bottom left corner, there is L from Death Note. I definitely had to include him because Death Note was and still is one of the greatest stories ever written for me personally, at least until the part with him ends. And he is such a memorable and great character that, yeah, he had to be included in this. Of course, we have lots of Disney characters from movies and TV shows. We have Timon and Pumbaa down here, 3 of the 101 Dalmatians, the 101 dogs. We have Bonkers, which is a character I haven't seen in probably 20 years. I don't know what happened to him or if he wasn't that popular. He was a little lynx playing a police officer. It was a very silly but funny Disney cartoon. Of course, DuckTales is included with Scrooge McDuck. And I think there has to be something else somewhere in between. Oh yeah, here also from DuckTales is this superhero robot duck, which I have no idea what's the English word for him is. Chippendale, and the gummy bears have to be somewhere here. That's a great thing about this painting. There are some kind of Easter eggs everywhere scattered around this. So you can look for at least 4 minutes at this painting and always find something new, something that was hidden somewhere. We have Spyro here, which is a video game character, of course, right next to Ape from Ape's Odyssey, which was one of the greatest games growing up on the PlayStation 1. Behind them, Harry Potter, of course. Basically the only main book character that stuck with me for all these years. We have Full Metal Alchemist with Blinky Bill right behind him there between his legs. Right next to him, Shin Chan, which I would have forgotten if the new episodes wouldn't have come out. Behind him is No Good, which I actually can't remember at all. I know he had a cartoon series, and I knew he had a video game which I rented, I think, and played for maybe a weekend, but he stuck with me. Right behind him is the Volt Boy, which I fell in love with during Fallout 3. Then comes Digimon, of course. Oh, there, right in the middle of the picture. We have Donald Duck, of course, from Disney. Behind him is Tombi, which is the main character from my absolute favorite game of all time. Basically my centerpiece. It's Rorona Sorrow from One Piece, my absolute favorite anime character, with me hugging him like a cool bro. Yeah. Next to us stands my favorite Dragonball Z character, which is Piccolo, and he's holding Kakashi, which again is my favorite Naruto character, who is reading, I think this is also a little Easter egg. Ah yeah, he's reading The Dunkle Turm, which is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King, which is the other series that stuck with me. It's very exhausting to read, but it has an amazing story. Of course, Detective Conan right here, Cartman from South Park. Touching his head is one of my favorite drawings in this drawing. Is Wario, which I always loved way more than Mario or basically any other Nintendo character other than Bowser, which I of course not included because he's a villain. Then we have the baby from also the Disney series Dinos, or in English maybe Dinosaurs, hugging another dino from A Land Before Time. I'm so sorry if I get the English names wrong. Behind them is Ichigo from Bleach in his dark hollow version. Right here in the back you see Venom, which basically is a villain. But since the movie with Tom Hardy came out, he's kind of an anti-hero. Then we have the Mask, which I love since the Jim Carrey movie, Alvin from the Chipmunks and Daffy Duck. I always loved the ducks, I don't know. They were somehow always the best characters. They weren't as perfect as Mickey Mouse or Bugs Bunny. I think that's what always bothered me. I also don't like Superman or Captain America. They're just too perfect. Up here there's Asterix. We have Genie from Aladdin, Rayman and Lomax, which are two more video game characters from my PlayStation 1 era. We have young Son Goku. The fights were so much more enjoyable. I really missed that. I would watch it again right away. Then we have the chick from Gargoyles, which also is not quite a hero, but also not quite a villain, I think. I don't even know her name. I always loved the dark atmosphere and the character design, but the characters themselves didn't really stuck with me, but I really enjoyed the series. We have one of the Care Bears here holding a Smurf, and stuck to the cloud behind them is Wiki. Not the Wiki where you look up your homework. I'm not sure, like I said, I haven't done any research if it's a German cartoon, so it could be that you guys in America or somewhere never even heard of that, but it was definitely a part of my childhood. And yeah, the other centerpiece, of course, is my favorite Pokémon, Charizard, with Monkey D. Ruffy, also from One Piece, on his back. Right below them is Sora from Kingdom Hearts. So I love the Disney Final Fantasy fusion, but I especially love the storyline with him looking for his friends, looking for his love interest. Probably around then hit puberty. So every love story directly hit the right nerve with me. We have BA from the A-Team right next to him, and of course Darkwing Duck, probably the first superhero I loved. We have Bumpity Boo in the background, the talking car, which was pretty stupid. Homer Simpson, of course, with Garfield on his head. I think those two build a perfect team. And on his cup are the Game Grumps hats, which are the only YouTubers I included, because they are also with me for more than 7 years, I think now. In the back, two more real persons, Bud Spencer, Terence Hill. I will never forget the sounds when Bud Spencer slaps someone in the neck. Absolutely amazing. Oh, and another Disney character I missed before, Mighty Ducks. Also something that just got lost over the course of time, let alone the character design was simply amazing. Like I said, I love the ducks for some reason, and these ones were pretty cool. A Moogle on his shoulder from Final Fantasy. Here are the gummy bears, and Extreme Dinosaur, T-Rex, what was his name? I can't remember. T-Bone, maybe? Extreme dinosaurs. Such a great intro, love it. Slimer behind him from Ghostbusters. We have Raphael, also again because he's not so perfect, because he gets angry a lot. Then we have Deadpool, which I only know since the movie with Ryan Reynolds, but I instantly fell in love with him and am since then. So I just had to include him in this painting. Then we have Jill, my favorite Resident Evil character, right next to Lightning, my favorite Final Fantasy character. And of course, with those two strong women from video game history, there had to be room for Lara Croft, which is in back here. The original Lara Croft, of course. Then we have the Punisher, the Thomas Jane version, which from the face, I like it very much how it came out. This one I definitely saw in school, early 2000s, and it's still one of my absolute favorite superhero movies. It's always the problem how you define superhero, since he doesn't have really a superpower, but Batman doesn't as well, and who wouldn't call him a superhero? Then we have Vegeta, possessed from the Demon Boo saga arc. It's the recording, I just wanted to make sure. I like that version also very much. Crash Bandicoot here with Bugs Bunny stepping on his head. Actually a scene from Space Jam, but I put a Dragon Ball in his hand instead. Then we have Spider-Man, which was definitely the first Marvel character I had contact with and I like ever since. And yeah, perfectly in sync, the Masupilami right behind him, which is a Belgian or French cartoon character, I think. So again, I don't know how international this character is. Then we have Cat Dog, one of the few Nickelodeon shows I actually watched because I mostly hate the style of drawing. They're so disgusting, thinking of Ren and Stimpy and so on. Yeah, Scooby-Doo. Oh yeah, I forgot that. The Care Bear has the Pink Panther on his belly as a tattoo, basically. And so is on the genie, there's a duck tattoo. And going back to the left, there is the Megazord Power Ranger from the first season. I had him as a toy. It were several toys that you could put together. And I had this one and the tiger from the White Ranger. As a teenager, I sold them on a flea market for very little money, which I hate myself still for that. Yeah, and on his shoulder, I think the last two we haven't talked about yet, looking at this thing. Pinky and Brain, of course, seeking a way to dominate the world. That's my first ever Heroes of Childhood painting. Maybe the only thing that bothers me is that some sizes probably don't fit together. Like for example, if Zorro right here would stand up, he would be taller than Piccolo. But all things considered, I'm really happy with this. Especially because I'm right in there, looking so happy with all my boys and girls. Yeah. Let me know in the comments, what are your heroes of childhood? Are there any similarities? Is there anyone missing maybe? Who would you put in your childhood painting? Really looking forward to your answers. Looking forward also to seeing you in the next video. Until then, bye bye.